everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am recording this in what's going to be my new reading nook in my new apartment. However, unpacking is taking a little longer than I anticipated. So because of all of that and a few other little things here and there, I have not been able to read near as much this month as I usually do. So I only have 3 books for this month. 2 of them I'm really happy with, one of them, ugh. So let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off with a bang with my favorite book this month, which was Demon Benefits. I absolutely love the series. As you know, this is the 3rd book in the series, and there's a few more to come, so you'll be hearing about this book series for a while from me. So Demon Benefits was sharp, fun, and surprisingly heartfelt. Matt was one of my favorite of the brothers, so I was really excited to get his own book, and it really delivered. The author is so good at balancing out the laugh out loud chaos of the brothers with also just really emotional and tender moments. And then the found family dynamic of all the characters continues to be one of my favorite things about the series. Now, all that to say, I wasn't a huge fan of Iris, the main female character, in the beginning. She's kind of frustrating and stubborn and prickly in not always the best ways. However, over time she did grow on me. I did really like her with Meth near the end. However, it did take me some time to get there with her. But overall, this is a great addition to the series, and I cannot wait for the next book. And she's already announced which brother's gonna get the next book. I think it's Rom. I don't know. The names are all weird. They're all named after like very stereotypical demon names, and so like their names are strange and weird because once again, no one can have a character named like Frank. Granted, I don't think I would take a demon named Frank very seriously, so it's probably for the best. But anyway, on to the next book. So the next book is Accidentally Wedded to a Werewolf. So I was really pleasantly surprised with this. I really didn't expect to love this as much as I did, but I absolutely devoured this book. I loved it. So it's a nice, fun, cozy, small town romance, but with monsters. This is the first book in a series, and so this book also introduces us into the small town of Claw Haven, which is like the epitome of like Hallmark movie small town, but with monsters. Which is a really fun, different twist on it, in my opinion. The book stars Oliver, who is the grumpy werewolf innkeeper, and Luna, who is a human and the epitome of sunshine character, who gets stranded there in a snowstorm. And thanks to a really dumb mishap with some like nectar things from his pack, they end up accidentally bonded together. So this is the one that like my little criticisms of the book is what leads to them being accidentally wedded to each other. It really is so dumb. So I'm going to do some slight spoilers here. So if you don't want any spoilers, skip to the next part, but here's your spoiler warning. So what happens to make them accidentally bonded is that there's some kind of special nectar that his pack has that passes down from generation to generation. That's a very major part of their culture and major part of their wedding ceremonies. Now keep that in mind, that's important. They recently moved to Claw Haven, and so all their stuff's like kind of all over the place. And Oliver is about to go to a party and he wants to bring a drink, and he just happens to find the nectar in like a storeroom or something out, and he thinks it's just normal liquor or something like that. He doesn't really think much of it. He says in there that like in his mind he's thinking, oh, that's kind of familiar, I don't really know what it is, but it's liquor and I'm about to go to a party and I don't want to go to, so I want to loosen up a little bit. So he drinks a little bit of it, and then Luna shows up and she is all kind of flurry, and she also then drinks a discarded drink that he left out. And so because they both drank out of it, that makes it where they are bonded and they are a mated pair. Okay, all my problems with this. First off, it's a major part of his culture. It is a major part of their wedding ceremonies and everything like that. And he's like, I think in his late 20s or something like that, and his brother is married, and most of the people in his family are married, so he has been to a wedding. And so he knows this. And then one of the younger werewolves make a joke, actually, about how he cannot recognize that when it's in their werewolf lessons that they take all growing up. And so how can he not recognize it? So I'm at least glad someone calls him out on how dumb that was, but it was still incredibly dumb. Point 2 that really irritated me was that Luna just drinks a random thing of liquor, just left out in a strange place. Like, I can understand some characters don't have very good self-preservation, but that's the next level. Like, that was so dumb. Anyway, spoiler over. Back to the normal review. I just really had to vent about that for a little bit because it was so annoying. So the romance is totally grumpy sunshine vibes that's fun, heartwarming, with a little bit of spice. Oliver's backstory really makes you root for him and feel for him. In the beginning, Luna kind of comes off as vain and vapid and a complete airhead of an heiress. However, as you read more of the chapters in her point of view, you really start to figure out the character behind all that and realize that it's a facade that she's putting on for her own reasons, and it really rounds out her character nicely. Overall, the vibe is a cozy small town romance, but with monsters for added spice. And that's really something I feel like I haven't read a whole lot of, and so it was really nice and refreshing and different for me. So then last, but unfortunately least, was Much Ado About Hating You. The premise sounded so promising. It's enemies to lovers, with fanfiction secret identities and a Shakespearean twist. It just fell so flat. First off, the characters are way too mature for to be in their 30s. Like, the petty things they do to each other, I wouldn't even expect from like college students or maybe even high school students. It was just awful. Like putting hot sauce in someone's food, or sabotaging a presentation by not telling them that the coffee is decaf and so they get a headache. It was just petty. It wasn't real enemies, so there was really never any tension. Also, the only reason he seems to dislike her is solely because she's doing her job. Because he's an English professor at this university that's going through like a financial audit, and she's an auditor. And her doing her job is his only problem with her. And he takes it out on her like she has killed his puppy. And then on top of that, their romance lacked any real tension because of the pettiness, but also just the romance was like that. And it just felt way too abrupt and just kind of out of left field. However, the thing that probably frustrated me the most was the ending, so slight spoiler. But Micah basically ends up giving up her job for him, and it just, because of the lack of chemistry and everything like that, it just really did not feel earned, and was just really a dissatisfying ending. The only real saving grace of this book was the audiobook narration, which was pretty good and added a nice level of emotion and depth to the story, which otherwise I do not think would have been there. Luckily I got this from the library, so I didn't actually pay for it, otherwise I'd be pretty upset. So that's the end of my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I probably won't be able to read as much next month either because of, as you can see, I'm still unpacking. But if you want to stick around and hang out with me while I do all that, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!